ॐ गुरुरेव घति गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरुः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरुः मतिरस्ति गुरो मम पाहि गुरु सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुभेदमभेदकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहगादर आजुहाव पुत्रेदि तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. We are seeing Srimad Bhagavada Purana and we are singing Canto 9 in it. And we are seeing the line of Ikshvaku Maharaj. That is the line of Vaivashvata Manu's children. The eldest son of Vaivashvata Manu was Ikshvaku, and his line and his genealogy we are seeing now. In my last video, we saw the story of Trishanku and his son Harishchandra Maharaj and his son Rohita. In the line of Rohita came the king Bahukaha. Bahukaha lost his kingdom to his enemies, and he went to the forest along with his wives. His wife was pregnant at that time. So the co-wives of Bahukaha king, they became so jealous of this queen, and they all poisoned her. But in the forest, under the guidance of Rishi Aurvaha, he was able to do meditation and worship God, and the queen also worshipped God. And under the guidance of that Rishi Aurvaha, the child was born to that queen with that poison intact in him. The poison did not affect that child. Since the child was born with the poison with him, he was named as Sagara, that is, one who is born with the poison. And this Sagara, he became a youth. He lived in the forest under the guidance of the Rishi Aurva, and he became a youth, and with a lot of strength, he again conquered that kingdom and he came back to Ayodhya. And he got married and he had two wives. First wife's name was, the eldest one's name was Sumati, and the next one's name was Keshini. Sumati and Sagara, both of them, they had 60,000 children. They all were had so much of strength. They had valor, intelligence, everything, efficient in all the way. And they deepened the ocean. They dug the ocean and deepened it. And that's why the ocean is known as Sagara. So they were such efficient young youth princes. And Sagara and Keshini, that second wife, they had only one son. His name was Asamanjasa. And once this king Sagara, he performed the Ashwamedha Yajna. And Indradeva was so jealous of it, and he stole away the Ashwa of the Ashwamedha Yajna. That Ashwa, that horse, was grazing in that field nearby, and he stole away the horse. He not only stole away the horse, he tied that horse near the ashrama of Kapila Rishi. And he tied it there and he went off. He disappeared. When Sagara, the king, when he looked out for the horse of the Ashwamedha Yagna, he could not find it anywhere. So he asked his warriors to search everywhere. They could not find it. So the princes, that is 16,000 of the children, the princes, they all went and searched. Everywhere they dug up the earth, everywhere they saw, and at last they trod a path, and all of them went very fast when they crossed the earth and went. And at last they found out this horse is tied near the rishi who was meditating. And when they went near him and looked at him, he was Kapila Rishi. It was died near him. And they shouted, Yesha Vaji Hara Chauraha. This is the one who has stolen the horse. Seeing the Rishi, they are just shouting like, because they misunderstood like that only. That's the common rule, isn't it? If anyone find that their article near them, then they have taken it. They might misunderstand like that. And it is for this purpose only Indra Deva, he tied the horse near the Rishi. But they must have understood that will the rishi take the horse like this? For what purpose? They must have thought like this, but they did not think. And for that only they were punished, and they experienced their karma bhala also. Anyway, they shouted like this is the one who stole away our horse. And they all said, Hanyatam Paba, kill this Rishi. Iti Sashti Sakasrinaha. They all, 60,000 of them, shouted like this. Udayida, raising up the arms. They have weapons. They were raising up the weapons. Abhiyayu, they all rushed towards the Rishi. Urun Mimesha Tadha Munihi. At that time, the Rishi opened his eyes. When the Rishi opened his eyes, the 60,000 of these princes, they perished in the fire that came out of their body because of their evil karma of misunderstanding this rishi has stolen their horse. They all perished in the fire that came out of their own body due to that evil karma. They just became the heap of ashes. In a second, they all turned into a heap of ashes, and they were nearly 60,000 heap of ashes near the ashrama of Kapila Rishi. The Kapila Rishi again went into meditation. The horse is still there. So Sagra Maharaj, he waited for some time for his 60,000 princes to return. They did not return. They all changed. They all became a heap of ashes, isn't it? They did not return. The Ashwa also did not return. Asamanjasa, the son of Sakara and Keshini, he was a great yogi in his previous birth. But due to some attachment, he did not attain liberation, and because for that purpose only, he was born in this birth also as the son of Sagara. He behaved like an insane person to overcome that attachment. Because if he behaved like a great yogi or a right princess, then everyone will again love him. Then again there will be attachment. So in order to avoid that, he always assumed himself or pretended to be an insane person. And no one liked him because his behavior was so rude. He won't respect anyone. And the epitome of that behavior is whenever he see children playing on the banks of river Sarayu, he will drag them and put in the Sarayu river. So they will be dragged off in the currents of the Sarayu river. So the parents, they will just cry, and they all reported it to the king, and the king also abandoned this his son because of his insane behavior. But what Asamanjasa will do is, these children will be taken off by the current of Sarai river, isn't it? After some distance, he will go and just take them out of the river, and by his yogic power, he will give them prana and teach them Brahma Vidya. So all these children, once dead, they all will return home. They all returned home. And the Ayodhya was just wonderstruck. Then only they realized that this prince Asamanjasa was a great rishi. In order to overcome that attachment, he was behaving in that way. And once the king also repented for abandoning such a yogi as his son. And he also repented for having abandoned this great son who was a great yogi. But anyway, he will not go and search for these children of his brothers. He will not go and search for them. He had a son by name Amshuman. He was such a good person, very devoted to his grandfather as well as to Bhagavan Sri Hari. And his grandfather, Sagara, King Sagara, he asked him to search for this horse and his paternal uncles. Directed by King Sagara, Amshuman, who's the son of Asamanjasa, he searched for this sacrificial horse and this 60,000 his uncles. He just went through the same path which his paternal uncles had made, and he came across the horse standing by the side of the ash heaps to which all his uncles were reduced, and a rishi was meditating nearby that horse. And he went near that rishi and he saw that it is Kapila Rishi. He worshipped him and he just worshipped that rishi and said this hymn. He said that, "Oh Bhagavan, not even Lord Brahma can understand you. Then what about us silly beings? They won't understand your power. They are covered by ignorance. How can an ignorant man like us understand you? How can you expect it? We all are covered by the Maya, which has three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And because of that, we think this body and mind is real. And we do not understand that you are the inner pervader. And how can we understand you? You are the condensation of that pure consciousness. You can be conceived or perceived only by the sages. An ordinary person cannot understand you. प्रशान्तमाया गुणकर्मलिङ्ग अनामरूपं सदसद्विमुक्तं ज्ञानोपदेशाय गृहीतदेहं नमामहे त्वां पुरुषं पुराणम्. You are without anamarupam, you're without a name and a form. Then how can we understand you? You are the inner pervader of all beings. Jnanobadeshaya grihita deham. You have taken this form and by using your Maya, you have these attributes and you have taken this form only to advise Brahma Vidya to the aspirants. So that for that purpose only you were born. Then how can an ordinary person understand you? Namamahe Tvam Purusham Puranam. Salutations to that most ancient supreme being. By seeing you today, my deep-rooted ignorance is uprooted. And he worshipped Bhagavan Kapila like this, who Asamanjasa's son, Amshuman, that is the grandson of Sakara, he worshipped Kapila Bhagavan like this. And Kapila Bhagavan slowly opened his eyes and looked at that very good, pious, and devoted grandson of Sagara, Amshuman, and he said, Ashwoyam niyatam vatsa pitamaha pashustava. You take away this sacrificial horse and give it to your grandfather. Let him complete the sacrifice, that is the Ashwamedha Yajna. Yemecha pitaro dagda gangambo arhanti nedarat. But all your uncles have been reduced to ashes because of their own karma. Now, no one can purify your uncles other than Ganga Devi. So, nothing but the holy water of Ganga can purify them. As Amshuman understood the parihara for it, and he's accumulating the rishi, made prostrations to that Rishi, worshipped him, and he took the horse and went away. Now he reported all this to King Sagara, but King Sagara somehow he completed the Ashwamedha Yajna, and he was so much depressed and worried because all his sons were turned into a heap of ashes. So he was worried like this, and another son was a yogi, but his son, that is Amshuman, was a great person. But he gave all the power of rulership to Amshuman, made Amshuman, that is his grandson, only grandson, as the king, and he retired to the forest and he attained to the highest spiritual fulfillment. Now, Amshuman, he performed tapas. He performed tapas and he tried a lot in order to bring holy Ganga to the earth. But he cannot succeed in it. And his life passed down like that. And his son, Dilipa, he became the ruler of Ayodhya, and he also tried, and he tried a lot, but he also could not bring the holy Ganga to the earth. Next, his son Bhagirada, the great Bhagirada, he became the ruler of Ayodhya. So the three generations they were trying. First is Amshuman, his son Dilipa, and now his son Bhagirada. He did Ghora Tabas, that is Panchagni Tabas he did. And at one time, Maa Ganga revealed herself to him. And he asked, I am pleased, she said, I am pleased with you. What boon do you want, my Vatsa, my son? She asked. And very with all that humility, Bhagirada said, Ma, I want you to come to earth so that my ancestors will be relieved from their papa. So I want you to come to the earth. And to Gangama, she said, Kobi Dharayita Veham Padantya me Mahidale. Can anyone bear the force of me if I come to the earth? Anyatha, otherwise, Bhudalam Vitva, penetrating the earth, Nrivayasye Rasadalam, I will go to the Rasadalam. So someone has to bear me on the earth, or otherwise, due to my force, I will penetrate the earth and go to Rasadala, she said. Chim chaham na bhuvam yasye nara mayam rijantyaham. All the men, if I come to the earth, all the men will wash off their sins in me. Mrjami tadakam kutra rajam statra vichintyatam. Then where will I go and deposit all those sins? Did you think over it, Rajan? She asked like this. And Bhagirada, he very humbly, and she said, Sadhavo nyasine shanta brahmishta loka pavanaha harantyaham te anga sangat te shwaste hyaga vidharihi. Men of renunciation, men who is always immersed in Brahman, they are capable, who are capable of purifying this whole world, that is the sadhus or the Brahmajnanis. They will come under the guise of pilgrimage and purify all your sins. When their body, when they contact with this water, then all your sins will be relieved, Devi, because in their body, Bhagavan Sri Hari will reside. So when they give ablutions for in this river, when they touch this water, Bhagavan Sri Hari, who is the destroyer of all the sins, he will manifest himself in those holy men, and all your sins will be removed. He said like this to Ganga Devi. Dharayeshyadi te vegham rudrasvatma sharirinam yasmanodamidam protam vishwam shativat tandushu. Rudra, in whom all the worlds rest as a piece of cloth, thus in the warp and woof, that is Utham Prodam Cha. Just like when you see the cloth, crisscross, the threads, fine threads will go. So just like that, in all beings, Bhagavan Rudra resides. Sharirinam Atma Rudra Tude Vegam Dharayishyati. Who is the innermost essence of all beings, he will bear your impact. Like this, Bhagirada said to Devi Ganga. And the next thing Bhagirada did was he performed tabas worshipping Bhagavan Rudra. But worshipping Bhagavan Rudra was not that difficult for him because to see Ganga Devi itself, it took 3 generations, isn't it? But he worshipped Rudra and Rudra Bhagavan was pleased with his request and he said, Tate diragnya bihidam sarvaloka hita shivaha dadhara vahito gangam Padabudalajalam Hare. Bhagavan Shiva accepted the request of Bhagirata and bore on his head the water of Ganga, which was purified by the feet of Hari, and she flowed down to the earth. Bhagirata now led the sanctifying Ganga to the place where his all his ancestors have become the heap of ashes. She just asked Ganga, that is, Ganga followed him to that place where the ashes of his ancestors' body were there. रथेन वायुवेगेन प्रयान्तमनुधावति देशान् पुनन्ति निर्दग्धान् असिञ्चत् सगरात्मजान्. As Bhagirata drove in his chariot in the wind-like speed, Ganga followed him, purifying all the places where all she went, and she drenched the ash heaps of Sagara's sons, 60,000 heaps of ashes. The moment the water of Ganga touched the heap of ashes, they all ascended to heaven. The 60,000 of them ascended to heaven. And that is the story of Bhagirata Maharaj and the Ganga coming to this earth. See how hard they all performed tapas. 3 generations of kings, they performed tapas to bring this holy Ganga down to earth. So whenever we touch the water of Ganga Devi, we must remember this story of so many people working so hard to bring this Ganga Devi down to the earth. And now she is Pavana Ganga, purifying Ganga. In the line of Bhagirata came another great king, Mitrasaha. His wife's name was Madhayanti. Mitrasaha once went for hunting in the forest and he saw 2 Rakshasa brothers. And he killed one Rakshasa brother and let the other one free. That was the great mistake he did. And that Rakshasa brother, he wanted to take revenge on this king. So in disguise, he became a cook and he entered in the palace as the palace cook. So he is the Rakshasa cook in disguise. No one found him out that he was a Rakshasa. Once Rishi Vasishta, who was the Kula Guru of Ikshvaku line, he was so hungry and he wanted to have some food in the palace. At that time, this Rakshasa cook prepared human flesh as the food and gave it to Rishi Vasishta. Rishi Vasishta, when he saw that, he understood it is the human flesh and he got very angry and gave a curse to King Mitrasaha that he will become an Rakshasa immediately. And Mitrasaga said, it is not my mistake. I didn't cook it. I did not even see it. It is only the cook he did all this work. And he came to know that he has come to this palace to take revenge. So it is, even I did not know him. He has taken revenge on me. So how can you give curse to me? And he also got angry. King Mitrasaha also got angry. And in return, he wanted to curse the Rishi. So he took some water. At that time, his wife, Madayanti, she prevented him. So anyway, this water is with curse, isn't it? So he cannot pour it down on the earth, because when he pour it down, all that beings will be affected by it. Innocent beings will be affected by it. So he poured that water in his leg itself, and he became an Rakshasa because of the curse of Vasishta Rishi. And the Vasishta Rishi said, anyway, the curse is given now. I can do one thing. I can reduce the time period of this curse. That is for 12 years. So for 12 years, you will be the Rakshasa, and after that, you can return back to your normal life. Like this, the King Vasishta said. He became the Rakshasa and went to the forest. He went in the forest, lived in the forest, ate many human flesh and the flesh of the animals, and he lived like a Rakshasa. At one time, he happened to see a Brahmana couple, a husband and wife together. So at that time, he went and caught that Brahmana husband, man, and he began to eat him. At that time, his wife, she pleaded, and she said that we all know that you are not a Rakshasa. You are King Saha, the husband of Madayanti. We all know that. And my husband was a Brahma Rishi, and you are a Raja Rishi. How can a Raja Rishi eat a Brahma Rishi? My husband is a pure Brahmana. So we are husband and wife. And if you kill my husband, it is just like killing a cow. Even then, if you want to kill my husband and eat him up, please eat me first. I cannot live without my husband. Just like that, she pleaded for the life of her husband. But this Rakshasa Mitra Saha, he just gave no ears for this pleading wife, and he ate the flesh of that Brahmana and just threw off the bones alone. And now the wife also gave another curse for this Rakshasa Mitra Saha. She said that now you have eaten up my husband, you killed my husband unnecessarily. So whenever you are with your wife, you will immediately die without satisfying any of your desires. Like this, that Brahmana woman cursed this Rakshasa Mitra Saha, and she put a flame for that bones of her husband. She also jumped into it, and she was also dead. So Mitra Saha Rakshasa, he walked in that forest, roamed in that forest for some time, and by that time, that 12 years ended, that period ended, and he again returned back to the palace as King Mitra Saha. So whenever he was with his wife, he will immediately remember this curse of this Brahmana woman, and he became an ascetic. So without any progeny or without any children to rule the nation. So Vasishta king, it was his duty to look after this kingdom and the rulership, isn't it? So Vasishta begot an issue for him by his wife Madayanti, and that son's name was Asmaka. The importance of Asmaha is his son was called Mulaka. The importance of Mulaka was when Parashurama he destroyed all the Kshatriyas. It was Mulaka who regenerated the Kshatriya line. It is only because of Mulaka, again the Kshatriyas were born and they all became very good rulers. In the line of Mulaka was born another king, Katvanga. Katvanga was invincible. No one can beat him. So even the Devas, they depended him for battle to win over the Asuras. So many times Katvanga Maharaj have gone with the Devas and defeated the Asuras. At one time, the Deva said, your time is only for one Muhurta. And Katvanga Maharaj, he was not disturbed by it. Immediately he sat in meditation, worshipped that supreme being and merged with him. So all these kings attained Bhagavan. The line of Ikshvaku was so divine and so pious and devoted to Bhagavan. To understand that only, so many incidents are given in this chapter about the genealogy of the Ikshvaku line. Because only in this Ikshvaku line, Bhagavan took birth as Bhagavan Sri Rama. There are so many rulers in this Ikshvaku line, they have attained liberation. And they were all great warriors, they had great valor. But after one age, they will return to forest and they will attain Bhagavan. They will worship the Supreme Being and attain liberation. This is the reason why Bhagavan Sri Hari, when he wanted to take the avatar of Sri Rama, he selected this Ikshvaku line. Because in this line, there are so many rulers, so many people who have attained liberation. And that's the importance of Ikshvaku line. Even though there are many other sons for Vaivashvatamanu, only this eldest son Ikshvaku, his line, many have attained liberation. And that's the reason why Bhagavan took this, selected this line to take his avatar as a Sri Ram. Now, in my next upload, I will explain about the avatar of Bhagavan Sri Ram. Om Namo Narayana Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.